let's speak realistically. I used to think to myself, fucking hell, I hate having OCD. If only I didn't have OCD, my life would be just fine. That was a zero return investment. That got me nowhere. Now, we've all been in that cycle. OCD is like a machine gun in your head that's taxing you straight from the moment you get out of bed. It's hitting you hard. By about midday, I was absolutely exhausted. So that's how it feels every day, particularly with chronic guilt, that you're like judge and executioner in your head, hitting yourself 24/7 in a cycle of chronic guilt and chronic anxiety over and over and over, that's sort of beating you down. Okay. Now, I was also somebody who didn't ever want to be somebody who was seen complaining or anything. Before I even started to set up this social media accounts that I do and the presence I have online with social media, I had no interest in being known. I had no interest in being somebody who had lots of followers on Instagram. That life wasn't for me. I wasn't interested in that. I didn't want people's approval. I didn't really want to interact like that. But I realized that unless I did do that, I wouldn't be able to talk about OCD at the one time in history where we've now got this global connection interface with computers where everyone can see what's going on in the world and share things from their mind. So it would be the perfect way to bring OCD out the dark and put it on the map. Now, every day I used to wake up, look in that mirror and think, this is a mammoth task to overcome. If the likes of Howard Hughes, who was sort of the fifth richest man in the world at the time, had terrible OCD, ended up spending his whole life not leaving his house for numbers of years and completely consumed by contamination OCD primarily. And I thought, how the hell am I going to get out of this when I've now got no outward compulsions and it's all mental? So I thought, this is going to be so hard. But I thought, I'm sure I can do it, because I wasn't thinking like this yesterday. Little did I know how sort of genes get turned on and sort of most likely get turned on and how that all started. I was confident I would overcome this somehow. Now, today, when I'm standing here speaking to you, I'm experiencing no chronic guilt, no chronic anxiety, zero. Intrusive thoughts have lost all intrusiveness. It's the same as somebody who doesn't have OCD. You get sort of just rare intrusive thoughts. What if I jump off this? What if I hit this? Whatever, that come in, but with no intrusive, like a machine gun impact that we all know all too well. Now, I speak pretty bluntly about all this stuff because I think it's key, because otherwise what happens is there's no sort of direct approach to recovery, and it's all very sort of wishy-washy and sort of leave thoughts there. And as you know from this account, we go into great detail about how to unlock that at the root so that it's not chronic guilt and chronic anxiety persisting, because thoughts are thoughts ain't going to cut it. We know it doesn't. People wish and wish and wish for years, as I did. Oh, when will this go? When will I be able to just forget about this? Just be able to brush this off? That ain't how it works. You've got to get under this with a deeper level of acceptance. Change your life philosophies, change your perspectives, adopt more rational thinking so that it doesn't have that sort of tight grip, chain-like effect inside you, where we know what that feels like. All of us, anyone watching this video knows that feeling. Chronic guilt, chronic anxiety is your sort of baseline state where you're feeling like you're sort of simmering away in cortisol soup. Okay, so I knew that, and I was like, no, I must be able to get under this. I'm feeling fine when I don't notice it, but then it's there most of the time, because the second I notice it, like the first second you wake up in the morning and then bang, it comes in like a train. I thought, well, if I can change my perspective, if I wasn't so scared on that, and I saw that the other ones weren't holding me anymore, so the old fears in the past that I'd got over then weren't. So I was like, yes, then if we go through the steps, it's going to release, release, release. And so as I learned and went through those steps of unconditional self-life and other acceptance, that then broke down bit by bit by bit till you get to this position of freedom. Now, there is no OCD thought or fear or scenario from my past or anything that could hold me today in that internally binding like fashion.